spring, everyone. So yesterday was the spring equinox, and today we're going to celebrate it. Hi, sweets.
We are.
Yes, my name's Lizette,
I'm Jeff.
and you've been to our channel before, or our page. Is this a channel or a page? This is
It's
a page.
both.
It's both. Why not? So we're so happy to see you if you've been here before, or if you catch our replay. And today, as usual, we went to the farmers market.
Every Sunday,
Every Sunday.
rain or shine.
Rain or shine, that's true. We never miss it. And part of the reason why we love to go there is because we like to get our produce nice and fresh and buy right from the farmers. And of course, there's plenty of organic farmers out there, and even farmers who do some biodynamic farming. So they have some really fantastic and gorgeous produce, and we really love to support them, rain or shine.
Yes.
Yes.
If you have a farmer's market anywhere near you, go out of your way to go, not just to support the farmers. That's a good enough reason, but it's the best food and it's local. It's not being flown in from overseas, so you can't go wrong with that.
No.
It's the way to go.
And we love to do it because, we haven't really talked about, have we ever talked about our ritual? Because we kind of have this ritual when we go to the farmer's market. We get our produce, and I think one day maybe we'll do a quick we'll zoom in live, or maybe do an Insta live or something from there. Because, it's not like we buy everything's pristine and we're all perfect. So don't make that mistake. Please don't think that. But we do love good food, and we also, in addition to supporting farmers and the produce out there, we also like to support the people that have food trucks or food stands. And at our farmers market, we have our local taqueria. I guess he's local every week. I think he's from somewhere else, but he makes the most fabulous
Well, they're close.
food.
They're
Yeah.
just like 10 miles from here. But yeah.
And they're fantastic, and they really changed things up during the pandemic. I mean, they completely changed how they were serving food. Remember when they were just making burritos and everything, and they were everything was to go, nothing cooked there. Now they can cook there, and they're back into making their pupusas, and they make their own homemade horchatas. I mean, it's just beautiful food.
Yeah.
I love it. And there's also another stand where they make paella every month. They do it only once a month, and they get the big paella pans. And I mean, it's just really nice to see all the foodies out there, and
Yeah, it's great.
it's beautiful. And then we like to eat. We call it the gutter, but we kind of live in the suburbs, so there's no gutters here. But
It's basically it's a loading bay. It's an alley that goes into a store that's not really even using that loading bay anymore, and it's kind of this little protected area, and we call it the gutter. So because it's just kind of fun to say, yeah, we're gonna go sit in the gutter.
like we're real edgy and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, and we go and get maybe one of those little things and sit there, and it's just like, even if it's raining, it doesn't matter because it's kind of protected under this. There's an awning, so it's nice.
It is really nice.
And that's what we do every Sunday.
Every Sunday, and today I had a buckwheat crepe, so it was a gluten-free crepe, and it was just really good. Strawberries, and this is a nice thing to do on a Sunday.
It is.
So, didn't get too much today, because this week we're actually kind of taking our week off of our regular cooking, so we didn't need to order, get as much volume, but we did get strategic foods that are ready right now. It's a short season for them, so it's good to jump on them when they're ready. The first one is green garlic, which I love. I got a few bunches of these, and I think we're going to make like a tart or something out of it, like a green garlic and leek tart. So we'll see how that goes.
That sounds good.
Doesn't that sound good?
Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking of. This is what I think this garlic wants me to do. The other ingredient is our featured ingredient, and I'm holding these in a plastic bag because I have to. These are stinging nettles, and they come out right around this time of year, right at kind of right at the end of March. And they are not the kind of green that you can get at the grocery store. You really do have to either pick it yourself or get them at the farmer's market, and some farmers will get it.
Right.
So stinging nettles have a stinger. So if you've ever been hiking, you may have been walking through them, and your ankles will know it, especially if you're wearing short socks and they get to your skin. Or you have a child, and they like to pick through things. If they touch these, they'll cry because they hurt.
it's kind of painful, especially if you have very sensitive skin. It can be very, very painful.
Yeah.
If you have moderately sensitive skin, it still hurts. You don't want to touch and grab and squeeze, especially the essential oil in there, but the little hairs. So it's kind of like you would think that's a warning sign. It's like, stay away from me, but it's a protective mechanism for other reasons. Nature does that when it has barbs on things and various. But here's the thing about nettles: health benefits enormous.
Enormous.
And they're a very underused green. I remember being at a conference maybe 10 years ago.
Maybe longer.
It was a big conference. Lots of had 3 or 4 really big speakers, big doctors, and then there were breakout groups with the slightly lesser known but still really great practitioners.
Yeah.
And I went to one with a couple of herbalists, and they were talking about nettles and how one of the reasons is because they have the stinging aspect. People go, I kind of don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
We're going to show you how to deal with it, but the benefits are, it's like, I don't know why this is not in everyone's kind of tool bag in terms of because they're just loaded with vitamin A, C, vitamin K, potassium. They're
magnesium.
good for lowering blood pressure.
Yep.
Super potent anti-inflammatory. If you use it with making salves and creams and so it's abundantly used by people like herbalists. They're all over it. I mean, it's just like, oh yeah, well.
And if you have allergies, these are fantastic to have if you have allergies like hay fever. So it's kind of like getting local honey.
Hugely great for yeah.
Can really help some people, and also helps with inflammation. Did you say that already? Because it really does help with inflammation.
Yes.
And I think with women's health, for a lot of us, we're achy. Magnesium is so helpful for women.
Well, it's used in supplemental form for things like osteoarthritis as well, and so for pain. So it's incredibly versatile, and just happens to be super delicious if you make it into we're going to show you, we're going to talk about it. We're going to boil this safely, not touching it.
Yes.
Because once you, not boil, but we're going to simmer it so you kind of deactivate, so you can, if you do touch it, it won't
So we're going to blanch it, essentially.
Yeah.
We're going to blanch it. So we're getting our water to boil, and then you want to blanch it so that it neutralizes the little filaments here, the stingers. This is not a green you can just have raw in a salad. I don't recommend it because you couldn't. And if anyone has ever done that and maybe they like the sting, let me know. I would be curious to see how you dealt with that. But you can also dry them or dehydrate them and then grind them down, and you can make tea out of it. But if you want to use it for making like what we're gonna do, we're gonna blanch these, and then we make basically we blend it, and then it becomes the base for all sorts of things. So
it's basically a pesto.
Essentially, except we don't pesto it out. Like we don't add the lemon and some people put parm in there, but the garlic. But you could. But we just do olive oil, sea salt, and keep it pretty simple.
So it's neutral, so that once you want to use it, then you can add however you want it. You could put some basil, mix it with some basil and some parm and that kind of thing, and make it into a more of a traditional pesto. But it is delicious on its own.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like what we've done carrot top pestos and things like that, which are usually discarded. That's like
in fact, that would be like a mega wonderful pesto, is to do nettles and carrot tops, and then if you wanted to add in a little basil for the flavor of basil, you could do that, because basil, of course, it's a recognizable pesto.
Now I want pesto for now. I'm thinking now it's like we're pesto.
Or
Okay, that's what we're having.
I think we're having pesto.
Yeah.
And then this can also be like we've done some pot pies, spring pot pies with a nettle pesto cream. Or it's not boiling enough.
Well, it doesn't have to be.
I guess it can just get bright green. So it doesn't have to be a raging boil. This is simmering good. So you just dump it in. Don't take it out. Now if you want to take it out, use tongs. These are your hands now. And you can just pull them out, and I'm just going to put it in. So I don't want the. And now when you look at the nettles, and I have a good picture of this that I will post later. but the stems are hardy. They're very thick. So I'm going to show you later, once we get these blanched. I'm going to show you what we do. One thing to remember also is there's a lot of sometimes little seeds and things that are in the bag. So when you put them in, don't do a deep inhale.
I would recommend if you get it from like a market like we did, take that bag and submerge it and like put it in the sink, get it really wet, fold it up, recycle it.
Yeah, I would do that.
Or if you want to dry it and reuse it, but I would, because even remnants of that sometimes can be an issue. So
if you have like a nut bag or like a nylon, we have to be heat proof, like a mesh bag that's
who are
not
you calling
plastic.
a nut bag?
All right, we're going there again, aren't we? I can't even
Again?
continue.
What do you mean again?
A dairy-free milking bag. There's no good way to say it, but anyway, if you have one of those mesh bags, you can
That's a
put
good
your
idea
nettles
too.
in there,
Yeah.
and then dip the whole thing in and not do what I just did by dumping it out of the
But
bag.
that was fine.
No, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
So you wait till it turns bright green. Now I salted the water generously because I know that I'm going to make this batch. I'm making it for the pesto base, or I could make some other base with it. Maybe just add the green to make like a potato leek soup with nettle, or just a classic nettle cream soup.
And you use a nice sea salt.
Mm-hmm. But if you didn't want to make sea salt, you know what you could do is you could just boil the water, put it in just plain boiling water, and then the water is tea. So you can actually chill it and make an nettle iced tea. And if you don't like just pure nettle tea, I would recommend maybe a little green tea with that. You can infuse it, or maybe lemon verbena, or
Ooh,
some
that would be
other.
nice.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, the nettle tea is really actually quite
so then
nice.
it's a tonic.
So you could blend that with other teas.
You know what this is making me think of? I'm thinking that I'm going to put together a little handout for y'all, and now when I have it all ready, I'll put it in our feed, and then if you guys want it, it'll be there. Just click on it. But I'll let you know. It won't take me until the end of today, but I will get it out before spring's over, before nettle season's over. How's that?
Well, you've got some months.
Yeah. Well, no, I got.
So put it.
I got like 2 days.
No, just procrastinate.
Oh no! I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I want to share some ideas with you on what to do with nettles, because I just think it's like you were saying, it's so underused.
It is, and so that's why we're blabbing on about it,
nettles.
trying to get you to get excited about it.
So I'm gonna step away and create an ice bath. So you keep talking about nettles.
Well, what else are nettles good for? Let's see. No, we've exhausted that topic. We basically said it all. So, underused greens. Wow. That's one heck of a racket you're making there, honey.
Hey, this is live TV.
This is live. It's a little too live.
It's too live, but it's real, it's raw, it's here. I'm making an ice bath. Now, I could skip this part, but I like doing this because I want to shock all those nettles after they've been blanching in there. That was a goodly amount, so if you want to take them out and just dunk them in, we'll give it a little
You think
shock.
that's enough?
Water?
No, you think that's enough?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice and bright, and it's gone kind of, there we go. So you shock them in ice water. You make lots of noise beforehand. And then I'm just going to take this spoon, put it in there.
This, as you can see, it takes 2 people. Ordinarily, this takes 6 to 8 people to do this process.
Yes, we endeavor to show you how complicated cooking can be.
Yeah. It's like make it easy.
Make it easy.
It's like no, make it super difficult.
It's not hard. It's
No,
nice
it's
to have,
not.
It's nice to have.
And look
cooking ready.
at the. It's
it's
amazing what
gorgeous.
happens when you just do for that. The green turns into this it's almost fluorescent.
I know, it's amazing. And so that's why it's neat. You can put it in your soups. You could even do.
You want to hand me the spider? And I'll get the rest. We'll get the rest of them out.
So you know this device, we call this a spider, but technically
Well.
this is for this is like a strainer when you deep fry things. But You know, when you're cooking healthfully, you can use these as a spider because it's pretty much the same thing. And the webbing is wider, and you can easily scoop out things.
It gets the rest of them
Yeah.
out of there nicely.
So I like that tool a lot. And
Yeah.
you can get that,
Well,
any kitchen store will have it, or restaurant supply.
yeah. It's what you would ordinarily use if you're
Making wontons.
yeah,
Yeah.
you've got a
Frying
deep fryer
wontons.
and you pull those out of there, but they have many uses.
Yes, and now let me, okay, so what I'm gonna
Right.
do next is I'll show you, and I'm gonna make another rack, just for briefly, okay, just to show you. You take a little olive oil, and let's grab I'm gonna make not the full batch, because this will be made in several batches. I just wanna give you an example of what to do. You know, one of the things we love to advocate with cooking more from home, and it's kind of to take charge of your health, like take responsibility for your health. You can cook more from home, get healthier, right? The other thing, a lot of people think it's really complicated because they're worried about complicated recipes, they're worried about time and the energy it takes. And we like to try and kind of break through that limiting belief, don't you think?
Well, I mean, if you think about it from the perspective of how do you, your perception of how you spend your time, and people say, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that. But then if you really look back on last week or the week before, why were you watching reruns of Friends?
It's not the
Maybe you should have. Maybe you could have taken half an hour and make some nettle pesto.
Nettles.
Woo.
Or it could be that just you're thinking about how much time it takes. But as you can see, we've been doing a live, and it hasn't been that long. I don't know. I can't see.
It's been about an hour and a half. So we should get
it
going.
hasn't really taken that long. So I'm going to take a scoop of this and blend this. Well, 2 scoops. And then I'm taking the stems too. There's good stuff in the stems.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can even see the little, I can see them. So here's something to watch out for. Even though you blanch it, sometimes the stems, the little stingers on the stems are still viable. So, and I made that mistake before blanching. I just grabbed it with my hand, and it was kind of, if I had done that when it was raw, I would be crying. But I still felt the sting. It's kind of like chili peppers. You don't want to just chop up chili peppers.
Olive oil.
Yes, olive oil.
Super good extra virgin olive oil. It's local.
Yep.
And it's one of our favorites. It's a company that's near here, and it's really, really good.
So you want about, I would say with the ratio here, you do maybe 1/4 of olive oil to 3/4 of your, it's like a 1-to-4 ratio, or 1-to-3 ratio, because 3/4 to 1/4 is actually 1-to-3. All right, math. Okay, now something to think about here. I'm not really measuring. I'm looking at it. If I douse the leaves well, I know I've got enough. If I need more liquid, then I'll add more liquid from the blanching liquid. So I think I do need more liquid. So let's get a little ladle, just so that we can blend this well. We'll get the sort of smallish one.
Sure.
And
you
then,
want a little sea salt too?
let's,
Or are you going to not do that?
I'm just going to make it,
You want us to do it totally
because
straight so
yeah.
that you can do everything?
yeah, because I've already got salted water. So I've got this briny
See
water.
what that does.
I think that'll do it. Okay, so plugging it in will help. I'm going to plug it in. Yeah, we'll plug it in. Okay, so let me plug in the blender. And so no recipe here. This is just by feel, really, by texture. We're looking at those kinds of markers. And then we're going to start with the low setting. And then...
Good already.
That's about all you need to do. Now, usually there's tons of fiber
You
in
want
here.
to pour it into a
Yeah.
thing so we can see
Oh
it?
my goodness, it smells so vibrant. Now, if you don't want all the fiber that's in here, I recommend it, but if you want it to be really silky smooth, then you can pour it through a sieve and then push through the nettle. And I making a sauce with it, but I don't waste
Wow,
the
look at that
fiber.
color.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Another thing I forgot to mention, this is great in smoothies. And because I didn't overly salt it or have olive oil in there, I would put that in a smoothie.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that
yeah.
would be a really beautiful thing. But
Nice.
multiple uses. If you are not sure and you don't think you're going to be able to use as many nettles, you can make this base and pour it into little ice trays, and then freeze them, pop them out, put them in a freezer bag, and then use them when you need them.
Yeah, but put it in a sauce with some butter, a little bit of white wine, a little herb, a little seasoning, and then you've got this really nice concentrated, beautiful. It adds a beautiful color, but also all that nutrient.
Oh yeah, so much nutrient.
So if you're doing it at not such a high temperature, you're going to preserve some of it, because it's also got all the amino acids.
Yep.
There, which is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of unusual.
I think so.
So
yeah.
like if you don't apply a huge heat to it, you're still going to get the flavor. You'll lose some of the nutrient, but if you can do it without overheating it, or not heating it at all, you're getting a really powerful thing.
I think so too. And then just for those of you, yes, we heated it to blanch it, but if you don't add any more heat beyond that, that's what Jeff means. Then you can make that smoothie or a cold soup. Like I would put this in a green gazpacho. I'll put a little bit in.
Delicious.
It'd be really good.
Yeah.
And to flavor that up, you just need to add a little bit. This is potent, so you don't need a lot. This is about as much as you would need if you were making some gazpacho that was in a container and you had about that much.
Yeah.
You'd only need this much nettle. It's a little goes a long way, and the flavor is neutral, so definitely green tasting. But this is the season of green. I think spring is the season of green. So eat your greens, and we'll be back next week with more things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As always.
As always, and I'm going to work on that little handout so I can share it with you, because I want you all to use your nettles, or if you go hiking, wear gloves and maybe forage for them if you are wanting to do that, because it is out there.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks so much, and we'll be back again. Bye, everyone.
See you next time.
See you.